Yo, welcome to the RDA. I'm your boy Retha, and today something a little different. Today I am not joined by my dashing co-hosts. Today I will be reacting to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. This is ahead of the game against Everton on the weekend, early kickoff. I think 1:30 for here in South Africa, and I'd assume around 12:30 or so in the UK. So yeah, he just had his press conference like I think around an hour ago. So we're going to react to it and talk about what the manager had to say ahead of the game against Everton. And it was a good one. It was a good one, to be honest. Usually, sometimes these journalists seem to take the piss, you know. They don't really ask the hard-hitting questions. It's like they seem to avoid them. I don't know why. But today, nah. They put Ole under a little pressure. Okay, not pressure. But they asked him some good questions, to be honest. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get to it. First, Ole was asked about our playing style and why we seem to get caught on the counter so much. You know, why do we seem to be so vulnerable on the counter? And Ole had this to say: the ball moves so rapidly up the pitch and it sometimes looks like a game of handball. The Aston Villa game had 45 minutes effective playing time, which is the lowest I've seen of us. And to be honest, for me, this seems like another version of fine margins. It honestly does. Ole is just full of excuses, in my opinion. You know, why do we get caught on the counter? Ole has this way of talking about United's issues, but then not really saying anything, you know. He has not said a word about why we get on the counter there. He has not said a word about how he's going to solve it. Yes, we don't expect a manager to come out and give a tactical breakdown of what's happening or what he's planning, but just give us a sense that you're moving towards a solution, you know. Why is a squad like Manchester United, a team like Manchester United, why is it so vulnerable on the counter? And he has said nothing about it. And you want to know why? Another reason he said nothing about it. Because the two main culprits to why we're so weak on the counter, or why we get caught on the counter so easily, are McFred. He's beloved McFred. So he's not going to go into McFred, you know? He's not going to go into McFred. But how easily we get bypassed in the midfield is solely down to not having good defensive players in the midfield. You know, McFred can't defend to save their lives. McFred can't tackle to save their lives. So it's easy for people to get us on the turnover, just bypass the midfield and put our defense under pressure. And Ole basically just avoided any giving any tactical basis to his answer, you know, which he always does. He didn't end there. Solskjaer will go on and say that is a challenge that we face more and more, and we have to we have got to be better at it. We've got to be better at it. Wow, Ole, you've given us so much, you know. You've really told us what the solution is, and you know, you've told us that you're working on implementing the solution. No, he's given us nothing. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer always does this, and it annoys me so much because it's just spin. Always Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, nothing concrete, you know. And it's annoying because it kind of feels like he doesn't respect. No, it's not that. Not that he doesn't respect the fans. It does come across like that as well, you know. It does come across that he's taking a pop at us sometimes, you know. Like, you know, I know better. I'm the manager. I don't need to divulge anything, you know. It can come across like that. But I think what it is that he's trying to paint a pretty picture, which is something that is done at Manchester United from top to bottom, you know. The PR, spin, all the way, you know. We're not genuine. We're not genuine what's happening at the club. We're not genuine about the issues. We're not genuine towards the club, the fans. We're not genuine towards the media, you know. So we always try to paint this pretty picture and we just move on with it. And it's not good enough, you know. We get caught on the counter way too much. Way too much. I remember the game against, I think it was against Wolves. And yeah, McFred went on it. It just seemed like they were getting bypassed left, right, and centre. Oliver go on to say, we want to be in the position that teams pay us such respect. There are so many things that you've got to do right. Teams don't pay us respect. Teams don't. It's not like Man City or a Bayern where teams come to Old Trafford and sit back and counter because they're freaking scared. No, teams come to Old Trafford and sit back and counter because they know it works. They know if they sit back and counter, there's a very good chance they can beat us, you know. So that's no respect. That's no respect. And Ole's just waffling here. Ole's waffling as always. Ole is never genuine in his press conferences. And it's annoying, you know, because you want your manager to be genuine with you. You want to feel connected to your manager. And I've never felt connected to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when it comes to a press conference, you know. It just seems like he's coming from a superior parent kind of point of view. And it's annoying. But let's move on. Let's not dwell on that. Solskjaer will get asked about a win in the Champions League and the dramatic win, the last-minute goal by Cristiano Ronaldo. And he had this to say. He'd say, "We've done that so many times at this club. We've played against a very good team, dominated possession, and we're open to the counter-attack." Counter-attack coming up there again. Dominated possession. No, not really, not really. We didn't dominate possession. And the times that we did have the ball, we can't use it effectively, you know. It doesn't matter having the ball. You can't win the game by just having the ball, you know. You win games because you use the ball effectively. And we have never, ever been able to use the ball effectively in the final third under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Maybe a little in his 3-month spell where he was interim. But ever since he's gotten the job on a permanent basis, we've never been able to move the ball effectively. Ronaldo had nothing. Ronaldo was feeding on scraps. Yes, I do think Ronaldo, yes, could have done more. There's a little bit of argument that he could have done more, he could have pressed more. But you can kind of tell that Ronaldo is reserving his energy so he can play throughout the whole game, you know. But that shouldn't be on Ronaldo, you know. The manager should be able to implement a style that gets the best out of Ronaldo. He's the best player in the world. So you get the freaking ball to the best player in the world so he can score the 30, 40 goals that he scores every season, you know. It's not rocket science. But Ole can't. It's not that Ole is refusing. Ole and his technical team clearly can't. You know, they clearly can't. Because, and I'm not just putting across my Ole out agenda. They've had 3 years to implement the style and they still can't. You know, the basics, moving the ball, they're still not able to implement that. So what am I supposed to suspect? You know, you can't just keep saying, give them time. How much time? You know, so yeah, that needs to improve. Ole would go on to say, on the same vein, Ole would go on to say, the boost, the energy has to be built on. It is a very quick turnaround. The players are not going to get caught out. Oh my gosh, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is such a cheesy manager. He honestly is. Like, I just feel like it's no tactics and all motivation. That's all it is, you know. All good vibes, all smiles, which is a very important part of management, but it's not the only part of management, you know. So I can't stand it anymore. Every time I hear things like this, I just get annoyed at this manager because I just feel like, give us more. But, you know, yeah, he's the Manchester United manager. The board are happy, so what can we say? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will get asked about the reports that Cristiano Ronaldo has asked him to play a faster brand of football, which is going to get the best out of him, you know. Goes back to the point I was just saying. Ronaldo didn't have a sniff in the last game. And he said that didn't happen, you know. He said it didn't happen. But I do not believe him for a sec. Because his reaction, one, he seemed like he was put in the corner. He seemed like he was stuttering. He put his head down and started laughing. And for me, I just saw a very defensive reaction. And this is just speculation, but I think this conversation happened. And Ole's reaction, I think, says it all. I think his body language says it all, you know, for me. I could be wrong, but for me, I felt like his body language said it all. And I think this conversation happened. And obviously he's not going to come out. Because when he comes out and says it, it's kind of confirming that, or at least he thinks that. He thinks that it kind of confirms that he's being undermined by Cristiano Ronaldo. 1, 2, it confirms that his playing style is shite at the moment. And he doesn't want to accept any of those two things, you know. But I'm confident this conversation has happened. And Ronaldo's right, you know. Ronaldo seems to be the only player who has the balls to say something in this club. Because Ronaldo's right. We need to not just move it faster. We just need better tactics on the ball. We just need to move the ball more effectively. And I'm happy that Ronaldo's coming out with this. Even though Ole is denying it, I don't believe it. I think this conversation did happen. And of course, the spin doctor manager won't confirm that happened. Maybe he's right not to, you know. What manager would, you know? Maybe it is undermining. So, in that sense, I understand maybe why he did it. But there's truth to what Ronaldo has said. if he has said it. We need to move the ball faster, you know. We need to be more effective in the final third, you know. For the talent we have, it's shocking. It is shocking because we are wasting our assets. We are wasting the talent we have. You know, it's common sense. I'll talk about common sense in a different question that I'm going to get to. But Ole, you're not implementing common sense in my opinion because you have horrible CDMs and you have probably the best attacking lineup in the Premier League, if not the world. But you're choosing to build your team more around being defensive. Common sense? I think not. I think not. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would go on, oh not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the press would go on to ask him about Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek, you know? And they would talk about Donny van de Beek's frustration, you know, because it was caught on camera that the players were consoling Donny because he wasn't coming on. And he threw, I think, a piece of gum towards one of the coaches. And I completely understand. I would also throw gum, you know. I would have aimed for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I would have gone up and thrown Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's head in front of all the cameras. But he threw a piece of gum and he was clearly frustrated. And Ole had this to say about it. You know, I manage a squad full of international footballers. Competitive footballers who want to make a difference, who want to play. They all want to be on the pitch. He would go on to say, Donny was ready to come on, as all the players should be. I've been a sub more than any player in this club probably. I must have a record appearance as a sub. And you have to be ready at all times. I've been not very happy. What the heck? Okay, I don't know what's going on with these quotes, but I've been not very happy. Yeah, wow. I don't know what's going on with these quotes. Clearly, I shouldn't use that website anymore. But basically saying nothing again. Basically saying nothing. Basically moving aside, dismissing any of these quotes really. If I remember, there was another important part. Let me just try and find it quickly. Okay, I can't find it. I'm sorry. Clearly, I'm not organized enough. But if I remember off the top of my head, it was something along the lines of he feels like Donny's reaction hasn't had a negative negative impact on the team. You know, he feels like it hasn't gotten to that extent, and he feels like when it does get to that extent, he will be more firm. You know, he'll be more firm. You know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is full of BS. That's what he is. You know, every player has to be ready. Look, I respect Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and I respect his position as Manchester United manager. And, you know, I guess he gets to choose the squad. But I don't know how much more evidence he needs that McFred are not good enough. I don't know how much more evidence he needs they're not good enough. 1. 2, in the game midweek where Donny did react like this, McTominay did nothing. McTominay could have just pulled out a chair in the middle of the pitch and just sat down. He could have just sat down and there wouldn't have been a difference, you know? So, and on top of that, we're trying to win. We're trying to win. And I don't remember who came on. I think one of them was Matic, but it was very defensive subs, if I remember correctly. And he doesn't bring on Donny, you know? Donny, every time he's played this season, he's been very beneficial in terms of retaining the ball, 1, and in terms of offensive play. So, logically, in a situation where we need someone to come on, you reward the person who's made a difference on the pitch, you know, besides their starters. That's Donny van de Beek. So, I completely understand Donny van de Beek's frustration. Every United fan understands Donny van de Beek's frustration. And Donny just needs to leave this club. Donny just needs to leave this club because it's just not going to happen. There's no miracle that's going to happen. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is just not going to change. He loves McFred, you know. And I suspect he loves them because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a bit cowardly into the way he plays. And he loves having 2 sitters, you know. Even though it's counterproductive because they're not that good defensively. You know, all they do well is be tenacious. You know, they run around a lot. You know, I could do that. So, you know, that's what I think why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does it. And it's just more proof he's not good enough, honestly. So, yeah, you know, I understand Donny. And Donny should just leave in Jan. I don't know what Donny's doing at the club. Donny's shouldn't have listened to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He should have taken that move to Everton. And he should have skedaddled out of this club. Because he is just not going to get game time. Nothing's going to change, you know. This manager's, you know, let me move on. I'm wasting time. There's more quotes. Let me move on. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would get asked about injuries, and if there's any injury updates going into the Everton game, he'd speak of Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford. He'd say Marcus Rashford is fit, he's worked really hard, but he's not had any contact training until now. If his shoulder can take the contact now, he should be ready after the internationals. Yeah, I guess that's a positive. I guess it's a positive to have Marcus Rashford back, because as much as us fans are very divisive in terms of what Marcus Rashford offers and how he plays, he scores goals for us. He scores goals for us. So I'm happy he'll be back. But I don't know what the ins and outs are in terms of Marcus Rashford's recovery. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's done the surgery, the shoulder surgery they had to do, or I don't know if he's just been rushed back. Because I remember them saying he's going to be out for quite some time, So if he's done all he needs to do and he's back, no, happy days, happy days. Marcus Rashford, 20 goals a season, playing with Ronaldo, that's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to see that combination. But if he's been rushed back, then that's a problem. That's a problem. And I don't care if Marcus Rashford has said, I'm good, Gaffer. I'm good to go, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a manager needs to prioritize his players' health. But from reading from these quotes and saying that this and that about the shoulder, it does sound like that the shoulder issue has been taken care of. So yeah, maybe I should have done more research on this. But yeah, it does sound like it's good to go. And it's good to have Marcus Rashford back. Marcus Rashford is one of our best players, And yes, he can improve his game. He can be more creative. But having Rashford on the left, linking up with Ronaldo and Sancho, is one of the best front threes in the world, in my opinion. So that would be very entertaining to see. To see those three together would be amazing. And hopefully when Rashford comes back, Sancho can move to the right, We bought him to play on the right. We paid freaking 75 million for him to play on the right. So hopefully he can go on the right. And hopefully, even with this individual brilliance playing style, we can be more creative. We can be more balanced. So I'll be very excited to see that. He would also go on about Luke Shaw. It says Will Shaw feels better in himself. He's a bit ill, but he has a shoulder injury. We've got to make a decision on him. So sounds like it's not too bad. Sounds like Luke Shaw should be back relatively soon. I'll assume he'll probably be back after. Okay, but he says you have to make a decision on him. So maybe he might play. Maybe he might play. And knowing Ole, whenever a player has a little bit of a chance to play, they play. So yeah, I think Luke Shaw will probably play against Everton. And if not, worst case scenario, he'll probably most definitely be back after the international break. So yeah, that's good. That's good. I was a little worried about the Luke Shaw injury because he has had injuries in the past and pretty bad ones, And before, last season was good, but before that, he was very injury prone. So I'm just happy that he seems to be getting over that. And yeah, Roberto Carlos, the best in the world. What more can I say? What more? Okay, yeah, one thing that I agree, we never agree, me and Solskjaer. So I'm just happy that there's one thing we can agree on. He talked about the fixtures. He was asked about the fixtures and how is it fair that we played on the Wednesday, but we're playing early kickoff tomorrow on Saturday, and Man City and Liverpool played on Tuesday, and they're playing late on Sunday. And this has always been a problem. You look at the Bundesliga, you look at La Liga, they always cater for their Champions League teams. They always cater for their European teams, And the Premier League never does that. The Premier League just has this entitlement for some odd reason, that they're going to go at war with UEFA. And it affects their teams, And will then directly affect the quality of football in the league. It's a bit stupid, but they always do this. And it's just ridiculous, I can imagine they want the big game to be on Sunday, so that's why they're doing it. And it's such rubbish, You put Man City and Liverpool on 1:30 and put us on Sunday, people are going to watch it. It's freaking Man City and Liverpool. Two teams have won the league in the past few years. It's going to get eyes. So I just don't get why the Premier League always does this and always brought up our managers, and they always just keep doing it. It's like them basically saying, we don't care. We run this. We don't care. So it is a bit annoying. And I agree with Solskjaer that this should be looked at. It's annoying. And I feel like maybe the teams and the managers should unite against this, honestly, you know, because I feel like there's never been a unified challenge against this fixture thing, you know. Last year as well, when we had a protest, yes, I know it was our fault that we protested and missed the game, but they didn't really seem to cater for us. They didn't seem interested in catering for us, honestly. So yeah, it's a lot of rubbish by the Premier League, but they always do this. And lastly, he was also asked about David De Gea, who has been in sublime form. David De Gea has been freaking amazing. And I'm just happy for David because he's been through the most at this club, you know. And the media always seems to paint a negative picture on David De Gea. And even the question, if I remember correctly, what they asked, the question was that how is it going to affect Dean Henderson? They weren't even praising David De Gea. Yes, maybe that's more of a story, but they weren't even praising David De Gea. It's how the media has always been when it comes to David De Gea. But they were asking how it's going to affect Dean Henderson. And Ole just said that, you know, he just has a lot of good goalkeepers at this club. And he talked about Tom Heaton. And like, I always find it weird when these questions come up. And he always insists in including Tom Heaton, you know. They'll be like about Dino, about De Gea. He's like, oh, and Tom Heaton. You know, like Tom Heaton's ever going to play. Tom Heaton's never going to play. You know, we're out of the Carabao Cup now. The FA Cup is not anytime soon. When is Heaton going to play? Heaton is just, he's a glorified bench wall. That's what he is. So it was interesting. But Ole said something along the lines of, and he has a lot of good goalkeepers this club, and he's just happy for David, you know, with upturning his form, and he's had it difficult and all that. And yeah, I'm just happy for David, you know. David is back, you know, and this is the David we love. This is the David we love. This is the David, I don't know if we can say 2015 best in the world David. Maybe not there yet, but, you know, he's getting close to that. And if we're going to have some chance under this manager to win the league, David De Gea needs to be ×2 best in the world De Gea. David De Gea needs to be a brick wall because we're going to be conceding chances under this manager. And it won't be. Anyway, that was our first press conference reaction. And yeah, there was some hicks here and there. I still need to get with the vibe, you know, how to read all the quotes at the same time and all that. But I'll get better at it. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'll be doing this on a weekly basis, you know. And yeah, I'm excited for Everton. Please also check out our preview. We've done our preview. We posted yesterday. And we discussed the ins and outs of the Everton game and what we think is going to happen. But yeah, that was the presser. And yeah, check you next time.